Curious Vedanth, and welcome to my podcast. Today, my guest is my granduncle, Dr. Grama Praveen from Boeing. He is a lead structural engineer working on the wing design for the Boeing 787. He works at the Boeing Mega Factory at Everett, Washington, United States of America. Hi Praveen, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Vedant. I'm very excited to be on your show.
So, Praveen, I have always been curious to know why Boeing plane numbers always start and end with a 7. For example, 747, 777, and 787.
Well, there's several stories around that, but there's nothing that really sticks. Maybe seven is the lucky number, and that's why we have seven there. And then I think it goes back to some things having started in Building 7, and that's how they got their numbers. So nobody knows today exactly why Boeing planes have the 7X7 designation, but those are the couple of stories that I can recollect that people have told me before.
Wow. In my previous episode, I
Mhm.
interviewed Dr. Vikas, who is a pathologist. You are also a doctor. I know that you don't treat people. Do you treat planes?
Yeah, certainly. I treat planes. I make sure that planes stay pristine, and if there are any damages and such, I help repair those planes. And so that way, I'm an airplane doctor, if you will.
Are you an aeroplane doctor only for wings?
Well, I used to work on engines when I was with GE. And then when I moved to Boeing about 10 years ago, I worked on the fuselage, which is the long tube that carries the people and the cargo. And now I've moved to wings lately. So I've kind of moved around um, within the airplane.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
How are aeroplanes designed? And what is your role in designing a plane?
Well, first you begin with, what you want to accomplish. Where do you want to fly? What cities do you want to fly between? How often do you want to fly? What is your payload, which is, how many people are looking to fly between city pairs, and what's the cargo that you want to carry or the luggage. So you try to understand all of those parameters, and then you come up with the design that best suits those fits those parameters.
What is your role in designing a plane?
Well, I'm a structural engineer, so like I said, I understand what loads the airplane has to carry, and then we go design the part of the airplane that we are working on, whether it's the fuselage or it's the wing or the horizontal stabilizer, or the vertical fin, which is the tail of the airplane. So you design those based on all the stuff that I studied in school. I'm putting to use every single thing that I studied right in my undergraduate engineering class and in my graduate school.
So you don't only work on the wings, you work on the whole plane, right?
Well, right now I work only on the wings, but I also have to keep in mind what the wings do to the rest of the airplane. And it's very advantageous that I worked on the rest of the airplane. The airplane is pretty big, has a lot of parts. We have different people working on different parts of the airplane: the engine, the fuselage, the wing box, um, the fuel tanks, the wing control surfaces, and so on. So we all divide up, different engineers divide up the work, divide up the airplane and the related work, and then we work on each of those parts.
The outside of an aeroplane looks so simple,
Hmm.
but
Because,
it's actually hard.
right, the outside of the airplane looks very simple and it hides all the complexity.
I have built a lot of Lego planes and helicopters, And that takes a long time with so many parts. How many parts does a 787 have? And how long does it take to build a 787? Do they come with instruction manuals like Lego?
Certainly, the number of parts runs into the millions, especially when you count the number of fasteners as well. That those are the bolts and bolt nut and screws and all the major big parts. It takes about 30 days, give or take, and different parts are put together at different locations around the world, and they're all flown in to the factory here at Boeing Everett or at Boeing South Carolina, and they're put together in the final assembly and delivery factory.
Wow, so that's a long process.
Have you seen the Dreamlifter airplane? So
No, I haven't.
four 747 aircraft were modified, and they're called the Dream Lifters, and they were modified to carry different parts of the 787, um,
Oh,
the wing and the fuselage, which are made at different locations around the world, and they're brought to the FAD, the final assembly location, and delivered there, and then they're put together to form the airplane.
why are there flaps on the side wings of the plane?
Oh, the flaps are there to change the shape of the wing. You need the flaps to be deployed when you take off and also when you're landing. So the flaps are part of um, lift generation devices on the wing. For the airplane to fly, you need to generate lift because the weight of the aircraft is acting down, right? So you need a force that's going to lift the aircraft up into the air, and so flaps are part of the system that do that.
Most of the time when I'm traveling, we
Hmm.
always get a wing seat. Every time I look out, see flaps moving up and down on the wings.
Yeah, so you will see those flaps moving up and down only during takeoff
Landing.
or during landing, during when he's preparing, when he's starting to come down, which is the descent phase. The wing is one of the most interesting parts in the airplane because it's got a whole bunch of moving parts to it.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's amazing. Why do some planes have smaller side wings near the tail wing while some don't?
Well, the small wings in the back are not really the wings. They're the horizontal stabilizer or the tail, if you will. That's what helps control your airplane in terms of the pitch going up and down, where the nose either goes up or the nose comes down. Those are the small wings at the back, and you don't actually call them wings, but you call them empennage. Every airplane has to have wings, big or small, and every airplane has to have an empennage, big or small.
And where do the wheels of a plane go after takeoff?
Well, there is a wheel well, um, that, there's a big open space inside the belly of the aircraft. That's called the wheel well, and the wheels are withdrawn into that wheel well, and the doors are closed. So that way, you will still have smooth airflow around the fuselage, and then so that's after takeoff, and then as the airplane is coming down for a landing, again those doors open up and the wheels are brought down from inside the wheel well.
Okay. What are the big fans attached to the wings?
The fans are basically the engines. That's the fan blade of the engines, and that's what's causing the high airflow over the wings. And the airplane cannot fly without those fans. So those suck the air from front and push it to the back. Also, with the way the shape of the wing is, it's called an airfoil that generates the lift. Um, and the air that's moving back is also generating the thrust. And so there's both the lift and the thrust that's required for the airplane to fly.
Are the wings of all models of planes the same?
Very good question. The old airplanes all have metallic wings, and the newer airplanes like the Boeing 787 or the new 747 and also the A350 all have composite wings, which is plastic wings, if you will. The older airplanes like the 737, the old 747, 757, 767, all have metallic wings. In the passenger aircraft, at least the big ones, there's there's been just one wing, and then been a winglet feature at the end of the wing that increases the efficiency of the wing. Off late, you have the 777X that Boeing is now testing, and that's made as that's a folding wing, where you have the last part of the wing that folds up as the aircraft comes in for lands, and then it comes towards the gate. This is to make sure that the wings will not run into adjacent aircraft, right? That are parked at the gate.
What made you choose to work with aeroplanes? As a child, what did you want to be?
Well, as a child, I was very fascinated by airplanes, seeing them fly. How could something so big fly up in the air? Even now, I think it's sheer magic. Even though I know all the science behind it, I still think it's sheer magic, and it's still um, fascinating to see an aircraft take off.
What are your hobbies?
I love to cook. I love to travel, meet new people. I love listening to music, catching up on a lot of reading.
Even I love reading and listening to music, and I've also been cooking a lot lately.
Oh, nice.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, everything is my favorite. That's my problem. Everything. I like Indian. I like um I like Mexican. I like Thai. I love pizza. But of course, Indian food is the number one and everything else follows.
I I love pizza and Thai food and also Indian food.
Nice.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. It was a pleasure.
It was absolutely my pleasure, Vedant, and your questions were very insightful. And it looks like you had done a lot of research. And I hope you learned quite a bit from listening to what I had to say.
Yes, I learned a lot.
Great. So continue being curious, and we look forward to more podcasts from you in the future.
Yeah. Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedanth, to get updates on the upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get notified about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedanth wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. You can also listen to my show on vedant.buzzsprout.com.